Hey there, and welcome to the Happy Wife Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Grimion, certified coach, podcaster, mom of 3, and happy wife of 19 years. I help busy women in their 40s get their spark back in their marriages without any effort from their husbands. If you're ready to get happy and get the love and connection back that you desire, then you're in the right place. Here, I'll share tips and strategies that helped me go from meh in my marriage to thriving and more connected than ever before. Are you ready, friend? Grab a LaCroix and let's get started. Hey, friend, and welcome back to the Happy Wife Mentor. So today's topic is one that hits close to home for a lot of us: hyper-independence. You know what I mean? That I'll just do it myself attitude, the drive to handle everything, and the need to be in control because it feels safer that way. I know, and you know, independence is not bad. It's actually a good thing. It's a strength. But when it shows up as hyper-independence, especially inside your marriage, it can actually block connection and create distance. And the reason for that is because it disrupts the natural balance of feminine and masculine energy between you and your husband. So today, I'm going to talk about what hyper-independence looks like in marriage, why it disrupts polarity and connection, and then how to soften into feminine receptivity without losing your power or your strength. So what does hyper-independence look like in your marriage? I know for me, I would say that I was probably pretty hyper-independent at one time. I've softened a lot and learned a lot about this. I didn't even know what that meant. It was how I was raised. My mom was and is very hyper-independent. I think the culture just really praises hyper-independence in men and women. I mean, it's a Western culture thing, but especially these days, women, we don't need a man. I can do it all myself. There was that. And then getting into, for me, a really masculine career where it was mostly men. I was selling and in the operating room with men. You had to be very independent and you had to know your stuff. I think all that combined really caused me to be hyper-independent, but it's rooted in self-protection. So it often comes from past hurts, disappointments, or the belief that I can't rely on anyone else. I know for me that was true. I think growing up, even though both my parents were in the home and, they were married, I don't know. I just didn't really feel like I could trust maybe my dad to keep me safe or provide for me, even though I had everything I needed. I'm still trying to figure that out, I guess. Like, what was it that made me feel like I had to be so hyper independent? Maybe it was because I felt like I wasn't going to get what I wanted if I wasn't that way. But I know that I, from probably middle school on, just really kind of had this subconscious belief that I've kind of worked through over time that I could only trust myself and I could only make things happen for myself, and I was going to go make whatever I wanted happen in my life, and that was that. It showed up, for me as doing everything myself instead of asking for help. It can be micromanaging or controlling because you don't trust that your husband will do things right. Can anyone relate? And then also downplaying your needs and emotions because you don't want to appear needy. You don't want to be vulnerable because you're not one of those needy women. I know I've thought that before. And it feels like strength, but it often comes across as kind of like you've got a wall up and that you're, like a distance to your husband. The second point is, why does hyper-independence disrupt polarity? Let's talk about polarity. So what is polarity in marriage? Polarity is the spark, the attraction, and the flow in marriage. There has to be feminine and masculine polarity for there to be those things in marriage. And hyper-independence shuts that down, okay? And the ways that it does that is the masculine energy thrives on leading, providing, feeling needed. Feminine energy thrives on receiving, trusting, expressing ourselves. And those two things work together beautifully, and that's what causes a happy, thriving marriage. When a woman steps into hyper-independence all the time, she unintentionally takes on the masculine role. And so this leaves no room for her husband to show up in his masculine. And he kind of starts to just check out. Does anyone got a husband that's just scrolls on their phone, maybe doesn't seem to want to be around, seems to be a little distant? Or their conflict arises. If the masculine, which is in your husband, is feeling like you being masculine, then that's very conflicting. It causes a clash. And that's actually what was happening for me in my marriage. You thinking you can do everything all the time and wanting things done your way and just kind of like bulldozing in a way, even though you don't feel like you're doing that. But if you really think about how you're showing up and maybe why you're having some of the arguments that you're having, it could be for this reason, because hyper-independence will cause a clash in the polarity. The third point is how to soften without losing your strength. The answer is not to become weak or helpless. That's not what we're talking about here. But it's for you to lean back more into your feminine and let your husband lead. So ask for and receive help, even if you could do something yourself. This shows that you trust your husband and it creates a space for his masculine energy. And then express the way you're feeling vulnerably and desires that you have. We've talked about this before. So, ways to be vulnerable are to say, I can't. If there's something that he's asking of you, and again, this is not easy because this is maybe how you've operated for 10, 15 years, especially in your relationship. So I understand that this doesn't maybe necessarily come across easy, but the more and more you do it, it does get easier. And you do start to notice that, hey, I've been saying I can do things, but it's causing me to be resentful. So really what I should be saying is, I can't. I'm going to tell you, trying to be the cool wife and just like, oh yeah, whatever, no, I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't want to cause, any confrontation. That is not getting you where you want to be in your marriage. Until that starts to change, then things are going to be difficult. I'll just be honest with you. Maybe it's saying ouch when he says something that hurts your feelings. Not defending yourself, because we all know where that leads. I know where it led me into more arguments, but saying ouch. It's hard to say that because you're showing that what he said hurt you, but you are not putting anything off on him. You're not blaming him for anything. You're giving him feedback about how you feel, and that's really vulnerable, but that starts to build more trust and just connection in the marriage, because then he can see how his actions made you feel. Also, expressing desires. Instead of complaining about what you're not getting, true vulnerability is thinking about what you actually want and sharing that. Hey, I would love to go to the beach for spring break with the kids. That is just a pure desire. Now, it's releasing expectation, but it is also being vulnerable and saying what you would love. Or if you are really craving sushi and you guys are talking about what you're going to eat for dinner or where you're going to go, I would really love some sushi. You're just stating your desires. That's very powerful, and that's being vulnerable. And then the third thing here is to practice feminine receptivity. Pause before you go to jump in and take over. Maybe you see him doing something and what you're used to doing is just like, oh, no, I can do that better. Just watch out. Just pause and let him do something his way. What that's going to do is that is respect, and that is going to show him that not only do you trust him to lead and to do more, but also it's going to take work off of you, because now you've got someone else that can handle some of these things around the house or with the kids, with the finances, and you don't have to do it all yourself. As a part of the essence of femininity as a woman is receiving and learning to receive help without judging or trying to jump in and take over. This isn't about abandoning your independence. It's about letting your strength coexist with softness so that your connection can thrive through that feminine and masculine polarity. I hope this is making sense. I would challenge you today to just think about that feminine and masculine polarity. And again, to recap, the masculine energy thrives on leading, providing, feeling needed. The feminine energy thrives on receiving, trusting, and expressing ourselves. How do you rank on that? How are you feeling like you're showing up in your marriage? Are there things happening, like is he checking out and just staying distant, maybe even a Cold War? Or are you guys clashing a lot all the time? It could be that the reason for that is because of your hyper independence, which is causing you to appear really masculine, and that will clash with another masculine energy. And we want that yin and that yang. We want that polarity that's just going to flow. I hope that this resonated today. I hope that there was a tip or just a nugget that you got that maybe was a light bulb for you, like, that could be the key to what is going on with us and how to change it. I would love to hear from you. As always, you can email me at coaching@jennygrimion.com. Share this with a friend. If this resonated and you've got a friend that maybe doesn't listen to the show, or maybe you thought about a friend like, oh, I know my girl Sarah, let's say, could really stand to hear this information because she and I were two peas in a pod and I know this is resonating for me, then please send it to her. That would really help me out to spread this message. Thank you again for tuning in today, and I can't wait to see you back here at the same place, same time next week. Take care.
Hey girl, I hope this podcast episode blessed you today. If it helped you in any way, I would so appreciate it if you shared it with a friend. Sharing is caring, and it's the best way for you to support me in this work. I would also love to hear from you. You can DM me on Instagram at Jenny Grimion, and you can also join my free Facebook community at the Happy Wife Club with Jenny Grimion. So, go do something fun for yourself today, and I'll see you right back here next week.